Safety note: computer security. Can your abuser access the computer or mobile device you're using right now? Consider clearing your browser history once you're done, or using a device they can't access. This video will help you get ready for a final hearing for a relief from abuse, or RFA, order, and you'll learn what happens when an RFA order is granted. At the final hearing, the court will hear from both you, the plaintiff, and your abuser, the defendant. The court will then decide whether to give you a final relief from abuse order. You can bring a support person with you to court, such as a friend, family member, or an advocate from a domestic violence agency. Before the hearing, practice answering questions the judge may ask you, like, what is your relationship to the defendant? What is the most recent incident that happened? What is the most serious incident that happened? Arrive at court on time and wait for the court officer to call your name. You may have to wait for a while for your hearing, so it's a good idea to clear your schedule for half the day. When you arrive at court, if the defendant has a lawyer and you don't, you may ask the court to continue or reschedule the hearing, so you also have the chance to get a lawyer. Then you can contact us at Legal Services Vermont and Vermont Legal Aid. At the final hearing, the court's job is to decide whether you have been abused and are in danger of more abuse from the defendant. Abuse means trying to cause or causing physical harm, placing another person in fear of imminent serious physical harm, abusing children, stalking, or committing sexual assault. The court will listen to you, to the defendant, and sometimes to other witnesses before deciding. Testimony is usually the most important evidence in RFA cases. If there are other witnesses to the abuse, make sure they can come to your hearing and testify. Sometimes an important witness may not want to testify. If that happens, ask the court clerk for a subpoena, which is an order for a person to appear in court and testify. For example, if a police officer answered a 911 call about the abuse, they may tell you they can't go to court without a subpoena. Evidence can also include exhibits like text messages, medical records, or photos. Bring copies of any exhibits for yourself, the defendant, and the judge. During the hearing, you may speak when the judge says it is your turn. Be sure not to interrupt the defendant or the judge. At the end of the hearing, if the judge agrees with you, they will give you a relief from abuse order and give the defendant a copy. If the defendant is at the hearing, the order goes into effect right away. If the defendant doesn't show up for the hearing, the court will ask the police to serve or deliver the order to the defendant. The order will not go into effect until it's been served to the defendant. If a temporary order was issued, that order will remain in effect until the defendant is served with the final order. Safety note: if you think the defendant might try to hurt you before they're served with the RFA order, talk to your local domestic violence agency about safety planning. The RFA order lasts for a fixed amount of time. If the defendant violates the order, contact your local police for help. While the order is in effect, it applies anywhere in the United States. Always keep a copy with you so that you can prove you have an RFA order against the defendant. In most cases, the defendant cannot legally own or buy guns after the court gives you a final relief from abuse order. If you have questions about that, ask an advocate or contact us at Legal Services Vermont and Vermont Legal Aid. Visit the RFA roadmap at vtlawhelp.org for details and more videos. There, you can also learn how to extend or modify your RFA order before it expires, and how you can make more permanent changes like divorce, child custody, or parentage. If you have more questions, contact Legal Services Vermont.